Bienvenidos a otra edición de Tomando Café con Jesús Hoyos. Welcome to a new version of this live stream, Drinking Coffee with Jesus Hoyos. And, that's probably, I'm starting to speak English here because we're going to have an English-speaking guest. And we're going to discuss about CRM, especially within SugarCRM, because it's no longer your traditional CRM. Today we have Volker, which is a Senior VP of Global Product Marketing. Besides that, we're going to discuss and talk about coffee as well. Volker, welcome.
All right, welcome, Jesus. So good to see you again, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I know we see each other in conferences and planes and restaurants, and I miss those days.
Yeah, me too. But hopefully they'll come back at least to some extent.
They'll come back. Yeah, definitely. So, Adriana, ¿cómo estás? Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Depending, when
Hi,
people are
Volker and Jesus. Great. I'm great. And
okay.
Volker, it's great to have you here with us today.
Okay. So for the people who are joining us for the first time, probably you know that we are today in LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube live, and then this will be in our podcast. And Adriana is here joining us today because Tatiana is traveling today somewhere, but Adriana is going here to help us. So she's going to be helping us behind the scenes, posting and looking for comments and make sure that, that if something goes wrong, she will take care of it during the live stream. And then at the end, she's going to come back, to help us with the outro. So, Adriana, see you soon. Okay.
Okay. See you soon, guys.
Okay.
All right. Perfect.
So, Volker, what's going on? How's life?
Life is good. And yeah, looks like the worst of the pandemic is behind us. And we're just talking about travel. I just spent 10 days in Hawaii, so that was nice. About a month ago, back in April. So yeah, travel's picking up. I'm making travel plans for the summer. So that's good. Other than that, I got a wonderful job at Sugar which I joined 6 months ago. Yeah, back in November.
Okay, so tell us before we start talking about coffee.
Yeah,
of course, coffee, and then we're going to talk about sugar.
All right. Yeah.
Tell us, what you do. Well, what is your role and your main responsibilities at Sugar?
I am responsible for product marketing, and what does that mean? Well, helping with the future direction of the products, but also a lot of go-to-market activities, and shifting. Also, one of the big things we're doing right now is shifting the mindset from feature function focus on business solutions, because we have such great products that result in real business outcomes. So we want to talk much more about this, because at the end of the day, it's not the features and functions of the software that matters. It's the business results. Does it help me drive revenue growth? Does it help me provide a better customer experience, for example, in customer service? Does it help me win more deals? Right? That's what sales automation software is supposed to do at the end of the day.
Perfect. So before I start talking about all that cool stuff, and plus I give you my take for what I've seen so far from you guys. Are you a coffee drinker? A tea?
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm a coffee drinker. I don't drink tea. I drink coffee.
Yeah, this is my that was my 20th cup of coffee, and a lot of people tell me that that I pour coffee into my sugar because I need to have a lot of sugar with my coffee.
Yeah, no, I drink coffee pretty much all day. Yeah, that keeps me keeps me up. My wife's more of a tea drinker, but I like coffee, and have a nice Swiss espresso machine that runs all day and makes the coffee for me.
Well, this is funny because you say it runs all day. Before I used to travel all the time, so and it's funny because it's 30 plus years, with my wife, and I get used to have my coffee in a certain way when I travel.
Yeah.
When I'm home, and now that she's working as well, remote, she drinks 1 cup of coffee in the morning. That's it. So in the morning, when she's doing coffee, will be that 2 or 3 cups in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I go, no, you need to make like 20 in the morning, because I probably need like 3 before 10 o'clock in the morning, So I just told her, hey, could you bring me coffee? And he said, you should have plenty of coffee downstairs, If I go downstairs, you run out of coffee, you run out of coffee. So I have the live stream. So she brought me coffee now, So,
all right.
So that's part of the whole process,
Yeah, I used to have, the drip coffee with the coffee filter, but it gets stale too fast, and so now I with my Swiss espresso machine, I can make just 1 cup every time fresh. That's
okay. So now let's talk about sugar then.
all right. Yeah, and no sugar in my coffee.
No.
Okay. Which is interesting because when I was younger, I had a lot of sugar in my coffee. When I went to college, I would drink my coffee with sugar, but not anymore.
No, I'm addicted to the sugar. If I tell you, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, sweet, with a rose sweets on me.
That's right. Yeah.
So that will be. So this is my take. Having many of you in the last 2 years, traveling. With many of you, the top executive and the local SugarCRM, executive from Latin America, and visiting and talking to you guys when you guys do your sugar events remotely, on site. One of the key things that I always take is that you always focus, on the business outcomes, but making sure that functionality is within reach, is right there, is integrated, is accessible, in the application. And and you have been making some changes. You have AI embedded in the application to understand the small data, understand what you have in front of you. You're making a lot of changes in the user interface, so the salespeople can use it. You have a common data model, a common true CRM system. And when I say true CRM system, that you truly have a marketing automation, and you have a Salesforce automation, and you have a service a module, all
Right.
integrated, working together. So it's not even though I can buy the separate, everything ties together. And you're focusing in the B2B market, and then boom, they hire you. Okay. And I was telling you, I was part of that briefing when they mentioned that they were able to hire you. And everybody was like, wow, and the reason I say that, because you maintain that focus, as a company, where other companies and and the industry is, even though we're moving to customer engagement ecosystem, and other companies are acquiring other companies and everything, you are focusing on that niche. And then all of a sudden you're popping up, in a lot of, analyst reviews. You're in the top 10, top 5, top 3 on the CRM. You guys are improving your sales, so you're growing, so all that is, you guys are telling a story, and that we say, hey, we need to have that discussion, because you are no longer, a traditional CRM. What I mean by a traditional CRM, you Salesforce automation, you are no longer in sales.
Right.
You're more than that. Okay. And you're no longer, the open source. even though you're still doing that somehow, but you're focusing on business outcomes. And I wanted to learn more about this, and I want to, my audience in Latin America and anywhere, understand where you guys at. And it happens by coincidence that we're doing this live stream during your Sugar Connect events. Okay.
That's right.
Which is this week was Europe, and next week is going to be the Americas, and I think EMEA was last week or something like that. So tell me the story. Tell me the good stuff, Volker.
Yeah. So I mean, Sugar is really on a roll. I mean, as you mentioned, there was many years ago. It was the known for open source and primary sales automation, but really pivoted into a platform that supports the entire customer life cycle and customer buying cycle, right? All the way from marketing and attracting, identifying leads, feeding the pipeline, helping the sales reps through the opportunities, close the deals, and then customer onboarding and customer support and service. So it really stretches and goes across marketing, sales, and service. But one of the big things, and you mentioned it earlier, what has always been a big focus of Sugar was the user. And I think that's something that a lot of vendors, even today, kind of still neglect. There's a lot of talk about user experience, obviously, but Sugar is really laser focused on how can we make life easier for the sales rep, the marketing campaign manager, the CMO, the head of customer service, as well as the customer service agent in the contact center or service center. And that's really front and center. And I think that makes a big difference. And you were mentioning AI earlier. Yeah, we're embedding AI across the board, but in such a way that it complements what the humans do, and basically focus on the stuff that you can easily automate, and that technology like AI can do better than humans. And so the humans can focus on those things that they do better. And that's not data entry, that's not doing a lot of busy work, is really engaging with the customer, driving a deal forward, helping a customer in customer service. And I think that really makes the difference.
Can I use the analogy of today's car, taking away Tesla, for example, but today my Subaru, okay, we all love Subaru here in the house. I'm a Jeep person, but that's another live stream. But our Subaru, when we drive it, the moment that I'm backing up the car, comes the the beeping, and if I go to the left, comes the beeping, or if I'm trying to look at a blind spot, it tells me.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I have those signals, okay, I immediately get better at understanding what that means, and as I go driving further ahead. So when I use that analogy and I look into the CRM, when you look at a report, or when you look at a view, or when you look at notification, those are signals, okay? And those are, validating that you have no blind spots.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of times, we say, I need to have my dashboard with reports. Yeah. But, where are the signals that are going to help you understand that data so you don't have those blind spots? And I think that's one of the things, to my briefing, talking to you guys and, doing, understanding how you guys work. That's how I see it. You start identifying those blind spots, okay? And all of a sudden, I start to understand the data better, and not that many CRM systems provide you that, so that's how I see it, from that point of view.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I mean, everybody's talking about data is the fuel, and they have customer data and 360 view, but at the end of the day, it's really about what you just said. How can you, for example, alert or notify a sales rep or a customer service rep, hey, you got to pay attention to this, or you should be focused on that, or a sales manager that shows, oh, there are these 3 opportunities in the pipeline that really require attention. And we're also using AI to support this. So, for example, we have predictive capabilities that show you which are the opportunities that are the most likely to close, right? And so those are the ones that you should be focusing on in this quarter. And it really tells you, okay, it's this opportunity, and it also explains why to the sales rep. So it's not like, hey, there's a black box just doing something, and this is the opportunity you should focus on, but it provides you some guidance, because our brand promise pretty much is let the platform, the Sugar platform, do the work for you and make all the hard things easier for the sales, marketing, and service professionals.
So Volker, let me give you this use case. Okay, I'm at the traditional sales rep, and I have, I don't know, 200 opportunities. Yeah, I just got 20 new leads, and I need to understand, out of those new leads that came from marketing, which one are the, assuming that they're all qualified, which one are the ones that I need to start talking first. And then after I talk to them, because I have, 200, plus opportunities, which one have the best velocity in movement from one stage to another? Because I might send an email, I might look at they visit the website, they downloaded a PDF file, I make 3 phone calls, maybe, I engage through a chat or SMS or WhatsApp or for whatever is the channel. But once I start understanding that velocity, the system should tell me, hey, these are your top 3 accounts with these 2 opportunities, that are giving you the higher velocity. And by the way, you have a few ones that are coming this way, and a few ones that are going that way. That way, I don't have to do the search and look at the reports. I mean, the system should alert me. Is that what we're talking about?
That's exactly what we're talking about. And in order to do that, you really want to leverage a lot of data. What was there an email? How much email engagement was there? Did they go to a web page? Did they maybe download a white paper? Are there any indicators of a real intent to buy anytime soon, for example, and then compare this to previous deals that were successful, and that's really what's going to help you. And we just did literally last night, I finished an analysis where we did some sort of benchmarking study, especially with regards to kind of opportunities. And so 11 customers participated in that. They're all using our Sugar Predict to kind of predict the likelihood of closing a deal, right? And so we were comparing the prediction with the outcomes. So we were looking at, okay, how many deals were actually won that the system suggested to focus on because they're very likely to close. And 79% of the predictions across these 11 companies were correct. So 79% of all opportunities that the system recommended, because the system said it's very likely to close, actually closed. And on the other end, because that's also important, which ones shouldn't you focus on? And many times those are more, right? The number of opportunities you may waste your time with. And 85% that the system predicted were not likely to be closed, to become a one deal. 85% of those actually, did not were lost deals. So what this tells you, with that very high accuracy of the predictions, you can achieve significantly higher win rates by focusing on those top-rated opportunities and not waste your time with others. And obviously, it also takes into account, right, the timeline. So having time-aware data. You were talking about the velocity of the deal. A deal that's not going to close within this month or within the next couple of months. There may be some things you should be doing to keep things going, but it's not something you need to focus all your energy on right now, depending on where you are in the sales cycle. So it's not just a matter of this is an important deal. It's also a matter of, is this an important deal right now, or maybe next week, or in a month?
If I look at what you're saying, one of the key things happening today in the market, in the industry, that everybody's talking marketing and sales and service. They're not talking to each other. Yeah. Traditionally, marketing and sales, anybody goes to your website and look at the demos and everything, you have a report that says marketing and sales performance. and you don't talk about the scoring, you talk about accelerating, the sales cycle. And this is something that during the pandemic, I've seen a lot. People are saying, Jesus, I need to be able to do marketing and sales, that they work together. One acquisition process. Yes, I don't care about the scoring. Scoring, people have to click, people have to, give me data. That's fine, but I don't have to figure out that. I mean, I want the system to tell me, what are they doing? And that's where, AI comes into place, and not everything is a landing page, but, you need to super validate the quickest way to accelerate, the sales process, because by the time somebody does a click, the thank you page, you said that autoresponder, they watch the webinar, blah, 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 5 weeks, and you want to be able to capture all those signals that you get, from the landing page. I'm not talking, first, last name, and email. I'm talking all the activity that they do, so you can put that together and do predictive, analysis, so you can accelerate, the closing of the deal, so you can move that person from the top of the funnel all the way down to the bottom of the funnel, which is when they pay. You close the deal.
That's right. And so it's basically, we look at this from a very, very practical perspective. And that's why I was talking about business outcomes later, right? You want to, if we look at marketing, especially in B2B, we're focused on primarily, you want to feed the funnel, right? And basically provide the right leads for the sales organization. And you want this to be a seamless handover, right? Not, there's one system and now let's, send the leads over, but it's because from a customer perspective, the end customer doesn't look at this like, oh, now I'm still with marketing and now sales takes over, right? And oh, maybe there's a business development person in between that was talking to me. From a customer perspective, for me, this is one kind of buying journey, right? And that's how we look at it. So what do organizations need to do in order to make this one process instead of 3, 4, 5 siloed processes? And again, what I said earlier, focus on what does that mean for the marketing campaign manager, for example, and then what does it mean for the business development person? What does it mean for the sales rep who's taking over? How can you support these guys in their daily job with information and with the data that's coming from the previous stage, so that you can move customers through that process? And I think a lot of companies, they're all saying, oh, we're focused on the customer experience, but what they're forgetting is that, you focus on the customer experience, but you need to figure out what needs to happen on the other side. And there are your marketing people, your BDRs, your sales, and later your service and support people. And how do you enable them to deliver on the promise of a better customer experience throughout the process? And I think that's what's been missing a lot. And you were mentioning kind of back to basics. It kind of is, the basics done right is the most important things. If you don't get the basics right, forget about everything else.
Well, that takes me to the other side. There's 3 pillars that we have in CRM. Marketing, sales, and service. So if we talk about service, it's the same concept. If I already I'm engaging the customer and I'm opening a case, and there's a velocity of the case, there's a knowledge base, and there's text, and there's conversations, there's emails going back and forward. I should know, based on those activities, where I am with that customer. I don't have to wait to send a survey, to understand, the customer satisfaction, net promoter score, or whatever, because the data is right there, and I should be able to, to get those insights from there. Yes, I need to have surveys and I need to do a bunch of stuff for customer satisfaction. That's fine. That's part of the process. But right now, immediately, I should be able to have, understand, where I am right now with the customer. I should have that right away. I don't have to develop something else to know where I am. I might need something else because I might have complicated processes, different business units, multiple products, blah, blah, blah. But I need to be sure that with the basic stuff, I know where I am with that customer from the customer service point of view.
Absolutely. And you actually brought up a really good point. Kind of, yes, you need customer surveys and satisfaction surveys, but and it's important to improve things, and maybe you need to go back to a customer. But if you think about it, surveys, the information you get from surveys, it's too late.
Too little, too late. Or they might be lying to you.
It's too late. I always give that example. You go on vacation and you're staying at a hotel, the air conditioning didn't work, and there were a bunch of other things. And then you come back home a week later, you get an email for the survey. How was your stay? Would you recommend us? It's way too late. There's nothing they can do about your bad experience. Instead of you're arriving at your hotel room and you're getting a message on your phone, is everything working, Jesus? Do you need any help with the air conditioning or this or that? That's a proactive engagement, and knowing where you are in your journey. You just got into the room, right? and maybe 5 minutes later, I want to follow up and check if everything's okay, instead of waiting until you're back home and it's too late to do anything about it. So that's exactly what you were saying. You need to know where the customer is in his or her journey in order to do the right thing.
And for me, what I think is important, and that I need, the data is right there in front of me. I just need to be sure, I don't have to live on a report, on a dashboard to try to understand those insights. The system needs to tell me, and what I mean by that is that, there's different layers of AI, BI, predictive modeling, and so on, and so on, and so on. But I don't have to export the data, develop a data warehouse, to understand, how my CRM data is working. I need to be able to the lowest, layer of data, understand those signals, understand where I am with the customer. And yes, I know that I need to have a BI project and I need to do a bunch of other stuff outside the CRM, but I need to be able to the data to tell me something, right away. And I think that for what I gathered, those are one of the things that you guys are concentrated. If I'm in the CRM, I don't have to go out to another BI, to a BI tool. I need to be able in my day-to-day operation to get those signals right there in front of me. Is that something that you guys working on?
And absolutely, because that's the philosophy. If you look especially at analytics and reports over the last, 20 plus years, you have all these charts, all the data, and it's great. And you look at it and you stare at it, and maybe you find what you're looking for, maybe you don't. Maybe there's a big issue in your pipeline, but you have all these charts, all the data, all the tables, bar charts, pie charts, this and that, and you don't even see it. But if the system basically alerts you and says, hey, we were comparing all opportunities in your pipeline from this week to last week, and here are the 3 opportunities that are, that you should focus on because they're at risk, for example, or in customer service. Oh, here's a customer case that if where the progress slows down, so we're at risk of not meeting our SLAs with this customer, so that requires immediate attention, and that's where the platform does the work for me, right? I don't want to sit there and analyze data for half an hour, and maybe I find some nuggets, maybe I don't. I want the system to tell me these are the things you should pay attention to. This is what you should do next in this case. So really, and not just one step, but then, like you said earlier, look at the entire, where's the customer in the journey in order to recommend what should be done next and provide decision support in these areas, and then automatically trigger certain things that may need the involvement of other people in the organization in a complex service case, for example, right?
Yeah, Volker, besides, being a analyst, independent analyst, influencer, whatever I want to call myself as a CX2 advisory consultant, I also have my other job where we implement solutions, and we have done all of the above. And one of the key things that I always find, doesn't matter which solution, it doesn't matter if they're spending, I don't know, $200K a year or $500,000, the moment that they say, oh, thank you, I have the system, but I still don't know my data. I still don't understand my data. I don't feel confident about the data. Where is the export? Where do I click to export to Excel? That's the moment that you're failing. You're failing in culture, processes, change management, technology, all the above, because you're moving away from the data, and then you're trying to make something out of the data in Excel when it's right there in front of you. So that's why I'm a biggest advocate. It doesn't matter the solution you are implementing. You always need to understand, that the small data, your home screen, your views, your report, your dashboard, your insights, your alerts, because those are going to tell you stuff. And this is without doing anything what you're talking about today, and if stuff of that, you put your insights, you put all those, AI, intelligence, that's going to tell you how to do, those signals. Then you're going to get better, because the more you understand the data, the better. And I think, what I like what you guys are doing, that you're focusing, on making the data accessible, transparent, that the data is in front of you, that it makes sense, and you can do something with that data right there, and you don't have to export that, to Excel. That's where it goes. Everything goes away.
No, that's right, and that's one thing, exporting. But even if the data is in the system somewhere, right? Many times you got to click around, and you're doing a few things, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I've got like 6 or 7 tabs open, right? Where's my opportunity again? And then you click through all the tabs. Oh, there was the opportunity information. So it's just navigating through it, and is terrible many times. And so what we're focusing on, also is you're always in one tab, and you never lose contact.
Say that again. I don't believe you, Volker. Really?
No, not multiple tabs. You're in one tab, and even if you're in a dashboard, you can click. We have a new feature now, which we call focus drawers, and you want to detail about an opportunity that's in a bar chart, and then you're not going to additional tab. It's basically almost like a drawer. It opens up and uses 2/3 of your screen, so you still see on the left hand side your dashboard, and then you see all the details of the opportunity. And if you want to change something, you change it. You don't have to click again somewhere else and go into editing mode. And we have the idea also is to not only simplify the navigation, but minimize the number of clicks as well, because if you spend too much time with the system, whether it's entering data or finding data, users aren't using it. That's the other problem, right? And then all the work you put into the system is in vain.
Well, the reason that I sound skeptical there, just to make a point, because that's exactly the point. And there's a comment here from Birthe Holm. Birthe, saludos. She's still, we did a large implementation with her a long time ago, but you're talking exactly about that. We're talking about the customer 360. For me, the customer 360 is a myth. It's having access to the data, minimizing, the clicks, and be able to see marketing, sales, and customer service, data that is accessible, to make sure that makes sense, and that's a key thing. And one view could be 3 clicks. One view could be different windows that opens here and there, but it needs to be in one place. I don't have to have 20 tabs open. That's the key thing. What we need to make sure that that makes sense from that point of view. So for me, try to understand that from the user interface is extremely important. And I know as a fan, I'm guilty of that. We lose track of that when we do, any implementation. And this is, let me go back to what you mentioned about business outcomes. This has, nothing to do per se on the functionality, which needs to be there, but focusing, on understanding what are those business outcomes so you can deploy something. And it's funny because we recently started to do this at Solvis. We are implementing, customer acquisition processes, utilizing an integrated, data process. The data needs to tell you stuff, and we want to be sure that we don't export Excel. We don't want to export to Excel. I mean, that's
right. Yeah.
That's something. The moment that we're exporting, something is wrong. Something is not working. So let's fix that. We don't have time to do this. Let's focus on the simple core basic functionality. Let's understand from the data. And that might be basic functionality from in your case, Sugar, or it could be, implementing the advanced AI, whatever, predictive that you provide, So that's the way I see it from that point of view.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify one thing when I was talking about get the basics right. That doesn't mean that it's a simple solution. Sugar, our sales automation and marketing are very sophisticated from a technology perspective, but focused on getting those basics right, because that's the foundation for everything else. You can buy all kinds of crazy AI and spend a ton of money on that, but if you didn't get your basics right first, it's not going to get you anywhere, right?
Well, I mean, I think that's the most important thing. I think, and it's the most complicated thing. Get the basics right.
Yeah.
Talking about politics, that how clean is your data, making sure that you have the right foundation, the right data model, that people understand that this is not a sales system or a marketing system. This is or customer service. This is an end-to-end process. The core CRM needs to be there. And sometimes because we have other priorities, we forget the basics, and I think that's important. And the basics, today with AI and other advanced methodologies and technologies that you guys provide, you can leap forward and do 200 things right. That's going to solve a bunch of the stuff in the future. Again, it's the perspective, but I think each company needs to understand what are the basics. And I think today, I was talking to a fellow consultant this morning. He's in Colombia. We're discussing that. You know what? Mm-hmm. We're still forgetting that we need to focus on the basics. We're still forgetting the basics.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing that. So and I think that's important.
And it's it's hard, but that's why part of our promise is we make the hard things easier, especially for sales, marketing, and service professionals, and then have technology that helps you automate and accelerate business process. We're talking about velocity, but one of the big things is speed has really become a competitive differentiator, right, across the board. If you can, we always knew that in customer service, if you respond faster to a customer request, if you can solve the problem faster, the customer experience is better. But speed now goes across the board. If you can convert a lead faster, if you can get your quote out faster, if you can accelerate or increase the velocity of the sales cycle, you have a competitive advantage. And so a huge focus of what we're doing is how can we accelerate things, and how can we accelerate the different steps throughout that buying journey, and automate where it makes sense, where it can help. We have with our Sugar Automate, we have customers that were able to reduce the number of clicks by 90% by partially automating certain tasks or steps within that entire journey, and that really makes a difference. And then you embed AI that can help you predict outcomes and make recommendations of how to act or react. if you do these things right, you're a winner, and you will fuel growth and win customers for life.
It's funny because I'm listening to you, and I do remember one of the webinars and white papers that I did with you guys a long time ago was about, how to move from, your open source solution back then to the cloud, how to migrate, and it was for Latin America, and teaching and educate people. Yeah, it's time to move to the cloud, with your technology. And and now looking fast forward, you guys are talking about how to make CRM simple, how to make it usable. So a lot has changed. You guys have evolved. I know it hasn't been easy. It's part of the process. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys are out there making noises, little by little. So it's good. So I encourage people to look at, to you guys, and especially to my followers in Latin America, because you provide a good, simple solution from that point of view. And saying that,
simple and powerful.
Simple and powerful.
Exactly.
So saying that, we have like another 3 minutes or so, Volker. So I'll let you, if you want to summarize what we discussed today, what would you say?
Well, a few things. First of all, obviously we've been driving a lot of innovation, and not just in the AI space, but user experience. We talked a lot about users driving innovation in to automate and accelerate things and bringing this all together, and that's really that's a winning formula for us. So for example, we increased our new customer wins by 59% year over year. So it's working. We're providing a solution to our customers that really helps them improve their business. And we as a company want to grow, so we want our customers to enjoy the same thing, and they want to drive revenue growth. They want to win customers for life, and focusing on the basics, but at the same time innovating with very advanced technology, but then make it usable and accessible, even if it's something like AI, make it consumable, and that just makes all the difference, especially for our customers. And at the end of the day, that's a primary focus. We want to make our customers successful, and then we're successful. Right now, looks like we're doing all the right things.
Excellent.
And we'll keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Don't go. I'm going to bring Adriana. Welcome back, Adriana.
Hi.
Okay, so Adriana, so what we have for next week?
Okay, I will switch to Spanish now. So, la próxima semana, el martes, tenemos una conversaciones de CRM sobre el movimiento del CRM hacia la experiencia del cliente. Y vamos a tener muchos invitados. Va a estar Hugo Bruneta, Gabriel Budiño, Marta Restrepo, Herberto Nanunciacao y José Carlos Yamaguchi. Entonces,
Colombia, Brasil, Argentina, Perú, México y Puerto Rico, casa llena, para que no se lo pierdan, ¿no?
Y la última invitación es para que nos sigan en todas las redes sociales, se suscriban a todo el contenido de Jesús, a los videos, a los podcasts, que semanalmente hay muchísimo contenido nuevo para que lo estén revisando.
Excellent. Thank you, Adriana. No. Don't go. So, Volker, I really appreciate a lot your time. Hopefully we can see each other and the rest of the team, Sugar team, soon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I hope so too. Thanks again for having me. It's been a great pleasure, and even in the distance, so good seeing you again. Yeah, hopefully next time in person, that would be awesome.
Definitely. Don't go. I'm going to do the outro here now. I'm going to switch to Spanish too, but don't go. Give me a few seconds.
All right, I'm here.
Okay. So let me see. Sometimes I keep forgetting about how to do this. Okay, here we go. Bueno, ya saben, esto fue Tomando Café con Jesús Hoyos. Muchas gracias al Volker de SugarCRM que estuvo con nosotros hoy. Espero que hayan aprendido mucho de lo que es SugarCRM. Me pueden seguir pues en el hashtag de nuevo Tomando Café con Jesús Hoyos. Estamos la semana que viene en conversaciones de CRM. Estén pendientes por ahí. Estoy un poquito atrasado con los otros podcasts de Customer Engagement, pero espero ya retomarlos pronto. Así que pórtense bien y sigan cuidándose y buen fin de semana. Hasta la próxima.